Hey, Anthony. What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be working? You're off work today. Ah. Still in Ukiah? I guess we are ready.
Yes, Master, we are ready now.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. We are here from Dharma Treasury Temple in San Francisco. It's Monday night here, and we're resuming our nightly Dharma talk from Master YongHua. He's the late Chinese teacher of mine. He's one of the greatest Weiyang patriarch that I know of. Certainly my idol, the only one man that I really admire and aspire to be like, and have no hope of ever being able to reach his level. So that's why what we do here during the Chanqi is to give you instructional talks, among which is, first of all, allow you to ask questions, any kind of questions, any concerns you might have. We try to address them. And if you have no questions, then, and of course you can ask them anytime. And if you have no questions, then we go and study Master YongHua's teachings. Okay? Words of wisdom from him. All right. Are we ready to roll the tapes?
Dawan 法师，他的相貌虽然丑陋，但是他的心性非常美丽，所以
This Dharma master Dawan, although his appearance was ugly, his heart was very beautiful.
当时的一些个做官的人也都皈依他，一些个有学问的人、文人也都皈依他。
Therefore, some officials at the time took refuge with him. Some well-learned people and intellectuals also took refuge with him.
因为他的学问也好，他的智慧也大，所以对一般的有名的人士就来亲近，来供养。
Because of his wealth of knowledge and great wisdom, famous people came to draw near him, to make offerings to him.
各处就请他去讲经说法，这一个节度使请他去讲经。
He was invited to lecture sutras and speak Dharma everywhere. One Jedu Shi invited him to lecture sutra.
All right, stop. Let's go back. So, the master says he's telling the story about great Master Dawan, It's very eminent, very big name in Chinese Mahayana Buddhism back then. And his contribution to Chinese Mahayana is humongous. And just to bring up a few relevant points for you, Master Dawan is rather ugly. He has a black face, which for the Asians, black face is kind of for peasants or for uncultured and barbarian types of people. So the master, even though he's has great blessings as virtue, but he was born very, very ugly and black-faced. And he went through he became a novice monk at the age of 12. And he was a scarecrow for about 5 years, okay, until he was 17. So you see, for 5 years, the first 5 years of formation, he basically hung around the temple and didn't get to speak to his teacher at all. So only when he was 17, that was the first time he came to his teacher and asked, is there a sutra I can read? And so what's interesting was that you sort of wonder back then, how on earth did he learn how to read? And then point number 2, for him to have photographic memory, he would read the sutra during the break at work, and then once, and he would memorize it. And that's amazing to me because first of all, where did he learn how to read? Number 2, I don't know about you, but sutras back then have old Chinese characters, specialized characters. How on earth do you know how to read or understand them? Okay, if you don't understand sutras, what we do here is we ask someone, we look up the internet, or ask someone who knows. Over there, at that time, he was basically a novice working in the field. And when he was taking a break for 20 minutes, half an hour, every 2 hours or so, he would read the sutra. Okay? So he probably asked someone about those Chinese characters and so forth. Okay? But you see, it's very, very demanding for him to survive through those years. And because he had such a fantastic memory, he was able to read a lot of sutras and memorize them. Okay, and Master YongHua says, even though Master Dawan looked very ugly, but his heart is beautiful. And what's the difference? The good looks is only first impression. You met, I'm sure, quite a few people who are nice looking, but as soon as you spend time talking to them and so forth, they kind of turn you off. Yes? And so even though Master Dawan didn't have the good looks, the good appearances, but his heart is good, meaning that he exudes this kind of positive energy. Can the internet hear us? Because I know the kids are a little bit loud tonight. Any problems? If it's too loud, we can get the kids to go to the Chan hole and play among themselves. If their people still can hear, it's not a problem. Let them be themselves. Okay? Let them be. Don't worry. Okay? So when you have a beautiful heart, a good heart, that means that you exude this beautiful energy, this pleasant energy that makes you very approachable. People like to hang around you. Okay, so he's quite a lot of people like him, and so first impression they're kind of taken aback. Wow, an ugly monk. how ugly can you be? Yeah. But then he has his reputation. Yeah? So that's why he has a big reputation. And it makes me wonder, why would these, the officials and the learned people and the intellectual people would take refuge with him? To take refuge means to depend on him, to rely upon him, to learn Buddhism, to cultivate. This is why people take refuge with you. People take refuge with you because they want to lean on you, on your strength, and depend on your protection, and take advantage of your guidance in their spiritual practice. So he's proven himself. Okay, and how did he prove himself? Anyone remembers? No? No one remembers. Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. I believe one of the ways he proved himself was by taking a sutra out to the field and reading it, and then coming back the same day and being able to recite every line of it perfectly.
That's one way, yeah, but not it will not draw a lot of attention. What else did he do? We talked about it last Thursday, so I know it's been like 4 days now. You probably don't remember. I do have the advantage over you, having to think about what to talk to you about tonight. So anyone remembers what he did? Anyone? See, I'm sure the Koreans are getting used to it. We let our kids be themselves and run around and play, and so we don't try to repress them at all, to control them at all. Okay, let them express themselves and explore things the way they like to explore. Yes, YouTube comment.
Thank you, Master. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our YouTube audience joining us from wherever they are in the Saha world. We have 35 people joining us live this evening.
45 or 25? Huh? 35. Oh, okay. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Chin says he wants to debate with everyone.
That's right. This is how back then, especially from India, from an Indian tradition, they prove themselves, make a name of themselves by out-debating the others. Okay, so the point where they go and debate Buddhism with one Dharma master, and then win the debate, and move on to the next Dharma master, and pretty soon, everyone is whispering, "Oh, he's a great debater. He beats everyone in debates." Okay, that's one way to make yourself famous very quickly. All right? Did Master YongHua do that? You who are disciples of Master YongHua, who studied Master YongHua's biography, did he do debates or not? I can't hear you. No. Okay? He did not do debates. All right? Yeah. So, how did he become famous? How? He could have gone around and debated the other Dharma masters, right? There were a lot of eminent Chinese monks and nuns monks primarily, who were very well known. And he could have simply gone around the country and say, I'd like to debate you. Okay, that's a Chinese tradition. You can debate. You can. Yet he didn't choose to do that. All right? So how did he become famous? Yes, 7.
Master, I think he go and help to cure people's sicknesses.
He cured people's sicknesses. He's healing people left and right. And people, so the whispers, oh, you're sick, come and see him. He can cure anything. Okay? He can save your life, and so forth. So he probably was the only monk back then who's able to do that consistently. Okay? Why did he not debate, you think? I'm trying to make a point here. Bear with me. Why did he choose not to debate? You need more time to think about it? Yes, 7.
So maybe he thought debating is like fighting, so he doesn't want to do that.
Debate is fighting? Okay. Yes. Wei Mountain.
Oh, thank you, Master. I was going to say basically the same thing Master Z just commented. It doesn't help anybody to make other Dharma masters look bad.
So why did the Indians, Dharma masters, the Tibetan masters, the rabbi, the rabbi training, part of the training, rabbi training is go and out-debate someone else, okay? From what I know. Why did they do those things?
You're asking me, Master?
Well, asking anyone. Why did people traditionally use debate to determine who is the wiser, who's the more knowledgeable, who's the superior teacher?
With all due respect to those people, because they were much lower level than Master Dawan and didn't understand the concept of no fighting.
But Master Dawan, the black-faced Chinese monk, he debated people.
Yeah, because he was so ugly, he made them look even worse when he won.
Yes, 1 in the back.
I'd like to think that they did debates before to get credibility with their community in order to show that they have wisdom and intelligence to get a following. But then maybe Master YongHua didn't feel the need to gain credibility in that way.
But why do you need to gain credibility?
In order to help people?
Why can't you just help people without having to gain credibility? When you help people, you just help people. Why do you need to be credible?
I feel like you could probably have a far-reaching audience if you have credibility.
Yeah, but I would frown upon that because I see you seeking to be credible. It's not so much you help this, help more people. There's an issue here. If in trying to help people to seek notoriety, you seek to become famous, then your efforts are somewhat, shall I say, tainted because you're seeking. When you're seeking like that, what happens is that when you seek to be more credible, you seek to be more notorious, guess what happens to the monks, the other monks, who are already famous, who are already notorious? they lose some of their luster, don't they? Yes? So therefore, are you helping them at all? I think you're harming them. They need more than you. They need more than notoriety because they have a bigger temple. They need to be more credible because they have more disciples who follow them. You need more than you because more people look up to them. If Master YongHua back then was basically an unknown or nobody and trying to establish himself, whatever he could has to take from the other monks and nuns if you establish credibility that way. Yes? It's a zero-sum game. And we have all the Sangha here who is credible Sangha. If you have a handful of people who are credible and very famous, and then a newcomer comes around and says, I'm more famous than you, and guess what? The rest of them, the old-timers, become less credible, less famous, because there are only a few disciples, Buddhist disciples, who go around. Yes? You too.
Trans comments, historically, it was important for Buddhist teachers to win debate in China. There were cases when Chinese emperor ordered debates between Buddhist masters and Taoist master to decide which religion to support as a nation.
Who said what? Who said that?
Tran?
Okay. Historically, I really appreciate it. Those are different times. When Buddhism first came to China, there was some debate, some Di Gong, they fought each other, showed off their spiritual power, who's more credible, who's more powerful, and so forth. And it's between the Taoist masters and the Buddhist monks. And quite often the Buddhist monks won over, okay? And those were the early days where the monks and nuns were different. The monks were different levels. Okay. Now we're talking about during Master Dawan's time, where they're a lot more established. Okay, they have a lot broader following, and they don't necessarily need the emperor to support them or seek notoriety like. When the first Indian monks first came to China and tried to establish themselves, they didn't have a whole lot of time, so they took the short route and the forceful route where they beat up on the competition. That's different. Now we're talking about debating your own kind. Okay? And now if you're talking about between monks and nuns and say the emperor says, I will support the winner of this debate, aren't you harming the losers if you win? So the emperors would support you as a winner, so the loser will lose out. And actually, in my mind, it's the losers who need more support from the emperor than you. Wouldn't you think? You win, therefore you have more wisdom. If you have more wisdom, that means you're able to more easily take care of yourself and get your work done than the losing masters. Yes? So shouldn't you ask the emperor, please support the loser debater? Don't support me. Wouldn't you want to do that? Huh? Because they need it more than you. There were different times, and those were the different times, and those were different masters. Okay, and so for example, if you cite me that the emperor, some masters would have to debate to get the imperial patronage, then can I point out to you that the sixth patriarch, the Chinese patriarch, Venerable Huineng, the emperor invited the empress Wu Zetian, repeatedly asked him to come to the capital city and royal palace to lecture on the sutra and teach her court. And he repeatedly refused, citing he's too old, he's too sick, he's too weak. Excuses after excuses. He said, please, the other eminent monks are much more knowledgeable than I am. Please ask them to come to the thing. And among them are his arch enemy, Dharma Master Xiu, who tried to claim that he was a sixth patriarch, the rival. The sixth patriarch said, no, I'm not worthy of your patronage. Please, please invite the other monks who are much, much more worthy, wiser than me. Okay, so even though, my point is even though the empress was trying to help propagate Buddhism and bring it to the next level, the sixth patriarch could have used the opportunity to get royal patronage, imperial patronage, but he refused. He says, no, I don't need this. Buddhism doesn't need this. We don't need to fight each other. We don't need to put on a show just to get more support. See that? And that's what to me is pure Chan, is pure Buddhism. No seeking. They're court with conditions. If conditions were such that they are able to help more people, so be it. If the conditions were not conducive to helping others, then they teach their own disciples. That's good enough. But there's no seeking. They're not trying to become famous. You understand the difference? Yes, they're trying to help as many living beings as possible. Yes, but there's no seeking. If they're able to help, they gladly help. But they're not seeking to help as many as possible. I'm not saying they're not making plans to help more people and try to help as many as possible. They're doing that. But they're not seeking whatsoever. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but they're not seeking to become famous. They're not seeking to get royal patronage. They're not seeking to get more money. They're not seeking to get bigger temples. They're not seeking to get more disciples. At all, that's seeking. That's impure. Am I making sense to you? This is why I revere Master YongHua. He's one of the rare monks I've seen in the history of Chinese Buddhism, where he says, very much like along the line of the sixth patriarch, I'm not seeking. No. You're trying to bring me to the capital city to put on a show for Buddhism, to show that you are the patron of great religions here called Mahayana, and these great masters here to put on a show for you. I will not participate. I don't care how much money you're going to give me in the end. I don't care how many more Buddhist disciples we can get. Not interested. We're not a show. Buddhism is not for sale. My Buddhism is not for sale. That's what the patriarch basically said. I loved it. He's the rare patriarch. I saw that in the history of Chinese Buddhism. Everyone else, most of all the monks, were impressed. They would say, if I get a bigger temple, wow, I can help a lot more people. If I get more famous, I can help a lot more people. Isn't it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. It's nice to be able to help more people, but it's not worth sacrificing your integrity, your value system. If you do that, how can you stick around and say, hey, you are not supposed to seek? If Master YongHua did that, I would not be reciting, asking you to recite what he taught us every night, every morning and evening ceremonies. We ask ourselves, is that the case we're seeking? We ask ourselves, is the case we're fighting? If we were fighting, if we were seeking, I would not be asking you to decide those things. Because when you decide those things, you look at yourself. Okay? In the morning, you get up, you say, is it the case I am seeking? Well, what does it mean? That when you say that, somewhere in your heart, it says, wait a minute, the night before, the day before, I was seeking, wasn't I? I was seeking to get more recognition. I was seeking for more money. I was seeking to get more disciples. Okay? And in the evening, you decide, is it the case I'm seeking? It's meant for you to reflect that during the day, were you seeking? We don't simply recite it, folks. We recite it because it's an act of reflection. It's self-checking. Did we seek today? Did we seek the day before? Right? And so that's my problem with these cute fingers. You know, it's so tiny and they work like magic. How can fingers be that small? So that's what the point I'm trying to tell you, to make here, is that Master Dawan, because he engaged in debates, and that made me disappointed. Okay? Because my master never did. Never debated anyone at all. Okay? Not because he couldn't. You know, he's a Tripitaka master. Very few people alive in this world would be able to know more about Buddhism than he, I assure you. Including myself, I assure you. I swear to God, it's the case. Okay? And he never debated anyone. Okay? Whereas Dawan is debating Xuanzang, when Master Xuanzang went to India and learned Indian Buddhism, and after 10 years or so, he started debating the other Indian masters and beat them all. Okay? To me, I frown upon that. Why you have to? This is my problem with debate. This is why monks should not be debating. That's my position. My position is, maybe it's a Dharma glimpse or something, my position is that debate is for losers. All right? Every time you debate, it's between you and a person, your opponent, and you debate, you try to beat your opponent for a third party to watch it, to know about it. So there actually, every single debate has three parties. You, your opponent, and the spectators. All right? So that's why I say debate is for losers. Because when you debate, you try to make your opponent lose. And the spectators who cannot debate, okay, they're also losers because they have nothing else to do. Get that? I have a problem with that. I have a problem with debate, things that the Buddhists do or the Jewish rabbis do or the Tibetan teachers do, because there's fighting. Okay? It's not good. Ultimately, why do people debate? It's because they're not sure they can win. You agree or not? You debate because you're trying to win. You're not sure you can win. That's why you debate. And you try your best to make sure that you defeat your opponent, so to make a point, to prove to yourself that you can win. But on the other hand, if you have wisdom like Master YongHua, he can look at you. He says, why do we need to debate you? It's like you looking at Claire, for example. You say, do I need to debate with Claire to show that I'm smarter, I know more? One look, you can tell right away. Am I making sense to you? You only debate because you didn't know, because you don't have any real wisdom. That's why you cannot tell. Master YongHua can look at you and say, this is your level. That's your level. Why do we need to debate a baby, a child? Is that clear? And so back then, Master Dawan did the things that were expected of him to make a case for Buddhology and Buddhist knowledge and so forth. There's a reason, there's a use for that, but I feel that's not necessarily the best thing for our times. It's useful to make a name for Buddhism, but for people like us, we look at that, we frown. We said, that's seeking. That's prevailing over someone who's weaker than you. There's no glory in that. There's no advantage that's worth, there's no gain that's worth it from that. Okay? Questions or comments? And that's why I love teachers like, use your microphone, 6. There's a microphone there. So that's why I revere teachers like the 6th patriarch, Master YongHua, because their conduct was exemplary. It set the standards for us to follow. Please keep that in mind. I train you so that you're stronger. You can overwhelm people who stand in your way. It doesn't mean that you can use it recklessly. Okay? You cannot hurt people. You cannot make people look bad. It's never our intention. Okay? Whoever you are. For example, many of you have such high samadhi level, you go to work and you can basically bulldoze your colleagues. But it's not, it's counterproductive. We work with people. We help each other, learn from each other. All right? Anyway, so back to slide 165, and a lot of people, intellectuals, smart people, wealthy people, powerful people took refuge with him. So that's why Buddhism became very famous, very much like nowadays. Like this Dharma master has a PhD from Harvard, and therefore a lot of people take refuge with him and so forth. So Buddhism is so glorious, has a diploma right there on the wall of the gorgeous, magnificent temple. It says, PhD of Buddhology from Harvard University. Bang, stamp of approval. Fantastic. Yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. Master, I just want to say how much I appreciate you bringing up this concept and sharing your perspective on debate each time you bring it up. as an English major at a Western university, my major was language, writing, and rhetoric. And I learned that in Western culture, rhetoric or debate has thousands of years history. I can't speak for Asian culture, but I can speak for, all the way back to the time of Rome. The sophistic history of ethos, logos, and pathos is just ingrained in the English language. And hiring someone to debate on your behalf became lawyers and judges and rules, and presidential debates and winners and bouts is just so ingrained as a way to identify people who are right.
Right. Superior people, stronger people, smarter people. Yes? And so we basically are gladiators for our benefactors, our emperors, our presidents, okay? Our sponsors. We're not different from the gladiators back then.
And as I see that type of communication and that type of interaction with people in America on social media, and do you see how sides are taken? Life becomes so contentious.
Yes. So a show. So only a show.
It's just
To get a like that you were trying to get on all those videos. That's it. You draw attention, you say, like me. Okay?
absolutely, which is why I was speaking with one of my Dharma brothers today over text, and I shared that I got off Facebook 8 years ago and haven't looked back, and my life is so much better for it. There's some nuance, I feel, but that's not the point. The point is, I feel it's such a profound perspective that you're sharing, that only to say it back to you, that when you're strong, you don't need to prove your strength.
If you know that they are no match for you already, why would you engage in a fight? Because you only will hurt your opponent. Okay, so worldly people, again, they fight, they debate because they're not sure they could win. But in our world, in our spiritual world, one look at you, we can tell where you are. Why do we need to prove we're better than you? That's my issue.
Yeah, I mean, the easy thing for me to say after a long time cultivating, but would have been immediately impossible to say when I first started, was you don't need to show that you're better than me. If you want to, go ahead. I don't care.
Well, it goes against your mission in life. The mission in life is to help others, not to beat up on others.
Which is how you've taught me to be very careful when I comment on the translations. I don't want to beat up on anybody. I just want to help the conversation.
Yeah, sometimes you need to beat them up because they're stupid. Okay, some of the ghosts, so you have to slap them and beat them up so that they know their places, because they're ghosts, they're troublemakers, and the only way they understand and wake up is that the pain, the suffering, will help them wake up. There's a time for that, okay? But we're not talking about putting on a show by out-debating someone, which is kind of self-seeking, which is what we frown upon, okay? All right, very good. Next. Because of his, next slide, 166, because of his wealth of knowledge and great wisdom, famous people came to draw near him, make offerings to him. Okay? It's funny. Famous people come and draw near him. Is it really desirable? Have you met famous people? I don't have any famous disciple. I used to have one. And he's a singer, ex-singer. He's usually very famous. Okay, had a lot of fans. And I've seen how, so if he's the example of famous people, you want him around your temple? Seriously? Huh? Anyway, see, that's a problem when you have this reputation and great wisdom. Now they come to draw near because they need to have the photos taken with you. I remember Master Tao as one of Master Tao's disciples, who I knew of. And after Master Tao died, he went around and tried to make a name for himself. So one of the first things he did was travel to India and have his picture, his photo taken with the Dalai Lama, put it on the wall. And then went to university, got a PhD in Buddhology and put it on the wall. And those people need recognition because they can't do anything. They don't know anything. Why would you need recognition from a bunch of scholars who don't know anything? Anyway, so has great wisdom, and yet he drew a lot of attention. So he has wisdom, but certainly not great wisdom. So he was invited to lecture on sutras and speak dharmas everywhere. One particular is Jie Du Shi, invited him to lecture in sutras. So he was on a lecture circuit, which means that nowadays, meaning that every time he lectured, he speaks at meetings, probably $50,000, $100,000 for 2 hours. Yeah? This is what famous people do. If you have a name for yourself so that companies will invite you over for a rah-rah session and say, now this is the ex-Secretary of State of the United States speaking to us and giving us words of wisdom. And that's $200,000 for 2 hours, plus hotels, plus a lot of expenses. Okay? So he's very pompous event where I'm sure like nowadays they would follow you and you mention in newspapers and TV stations and so forth. So he's invited to lecture everywhere. Okay. But anyway, he has his role in Chinese Buddhism where he made a name for himself. Okay, so it helped Buddhism become more widely known. But there's some people whose purpose is to do that. Okay, and I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying that it's not our path. We're not here to do that. That's my teacher's preference. I like it. I like that fact that he's pure. And unfortunately, my generation, we caught up by the financial pressures and this huge mass of disciples of his that we need to run and to manage and to keep in line. And that's why we're overreaching. We need to prove ourselves worthy to be in the next generation. That's wrong. There's no need for that. We all get what we deserve. Okay, next please.
We read the slide too.
Yeah, next.
就是做官，好像做省长的似的。那一个节度使也请他去讲经。
Jedu-shi is an official, like a provincial governor. That governor also invited him to lecture sutras.
当时，他没有一天闲着的时候，每一天都是讲经说法。
At that time, he didn't take a day off. Every day, he was lecturing sutras and speaking Dharma.
应他这些个门人弟子，无论到什么地方，都在500以上，500名以上。所以，他这个名誉就没有人不知道。
Anywhere he went, there were more than 500 of disciples drawing near him, so his name was known to everyone.
当时有一个隐士，隐士就横隐那个隐，隐士就是隐居以求其志，情义以达其道。
At that time, there was a hermit. A hermit is a person who dwells in seclusion to fathom one's will, acts with righteousness to achieve one's way.
隐遁的人呢，什么也不贪，什么也不求的，这么一个人，也是研究佛法。
He was a hermit who was greedy for nothing and seeking for nothing. He too studied the Buddha Dharma.
这个人呢，叫什么呢？叫这个习左齿。
What was his name? It was Shi Jiaoqi.
习就是小习的习，左呀，这个左就是用个凿子凿一个窟窿在木头上，那个凿。
Ji is the Ji for study. Jiao is the word to chisel, using a chisel to chisel a hole.
凿齿，齿就是牙齿的齿，但是他不是一个牙医，不是看牙的医生，不过叫这么个名字。
Qi in Jijiaoqi is the same character for teeth, but he was not a dentist, not a doctor who treated teeth. It was just his name.
来见这个道安法师，道安法师说：“你贵姓啊？请问这个人的贵姓呢？”
He went to visit Dharma Master Dawan. Dharma Master Dawan asked, "What's your surname?" He asked for his last name.
他说：“你还不知道我？四海习左齿，四海，四个大海，就是表示他什么人都知道他，四海习左齿。你还问我？”
You don't know me? 4 C's, Jijiaoqi? 4 C's meant everybody knew him. 4 C's, Zijiaoqi. You still ask?
道安法师说：“哦，你是四海西卓池，你知道我是谁呀？”
Dharma Master Dawan said, "You are the four seas Zijiaoqi. Do you know who I am?"
西卓池说：“你是道安法师。”
Zijiaoqi said, You are Dharma Master Dawan."
他说：“我是弥天石道安。”
He said, I am the whole sky Shakya Dawan.
弥天就是满天，它是四海，它是个满天。弥天就是阿弥陀佛那个弥。弥天石道安。
Whole sky means the entire sky. One was four seas, the other was whole sky. The whole sky Shakya Dawan.
它是个四海，它就是个弥天，弥天正遮着它，盖着它这个四海。
One is four seas, then the other is the whole sky. The whole sky covers the four seas.
所以当时一般人认为这是一个最好的问答，最好的、最有名的一个问答 ，famous question。
So, at that time, ordinary people thought this is the best question and answer, the best, most famous question and answer.
Okay, stop. Okay, let's go back. So there is a Jiedu who was a governor, so state governor, so a big shot. Provincial governor is like a state governor nowadays. And so he invited him to lecture in sutras. Big honor for a monk to do that. At the time, Master Dawan was working every single day. Monks and nuns do not have to take the weekends off. And every day he was lecturing sutras and speaking Dharma, very much like Master YongHua. He explained so many sutras we have right now is because he basically lectured daily. Until he got too old and too weak, then he stopped lecturing. And everywhere he went, he has a lot of disciples following him and drawing near him. So that's why he's very, very famous. Okay, it's kind of imagine that wherever he went, he have 500 people following him or occupying him. So you're talking about a huge, huge lecture hall. That's more or less like a convention center nowadays. Everywhere he went, pretty impressive. At the time, now this is an anecdote. At the time was a hermit what is a hermit? Hermit is according to Master YongHua, hermit is he dwells by seeking his will, his aspiration. And sing some. This is cha. What does this Chinese character mean?
It's yi in simplified.
Xing yi. What yi? Yi fu the yi,
道义的义。
Dao yi the yi. So, 行一以达即道. So the practice, so E here is the principles, yes? Okay, so they behave according to principles in order to reach his way, to attain the way. Okay, so that's what a hermit. This is by tradition, and this is quite a common practice for people who are trying to seek spiritual attainments. They withdraw to themselves, and they have a huge drive in Ju, so they hide in seclusion in order to seek his aspiration. Okay, his aspiration is to open wisdom. Okay, and this is a very important point to make here, is that back then they hide themselves, meaning that no one knows about them. They live hidden, they live unknown. Whereas nowadays, there's famous in China, Nepal, and so forth. There's people who live in seclusion that's accessible by TikTok and by video camera crews and so forth, and tell their stories and get a lot of support. Okay, that's not called seclusion, not called hermit. And that's why if you practice like that, you are very unlikely you can go anywhere at all, because it's not the Dharma of being a hermit. Hermit is that no one knows about you, okay? And no one can even reach you. Hermit is that you're unreachable. So if you are, like nowadays, I told you the story already, where there's some hermits who live in a cliff somewhere in Asia, and they're well supported because people climb the walls to give them food, to give them supplies and whatever they need, medicine and so forth. Okay, and that's not called a hermit. Hermit is that no one knows. You're basically self-sufficient. No one can send you some money payment to support you. Okay, and so you hide. You live in hiding and to seek your resolve, meaning your aspiration. Your aspiration is to open your wisdom. Yes? So that's the Dharma behind it. The Dharma behind it is that you cut off from the world. Okay? In order to reach your goal, they cut off themselves from the world, from all contact, from all communications. No more iPhone, no more internet, no more electricity. Because electricity means you stay connected to the power grid. If you're given things to buy the things, and you're connected to the suppliers. Hermit is that you're unknown, you're in hiding. Okay? And you practice in principles in order to penetrate the way. So you act according to the teachings, Buddhist teachings. So every day, you behave in a way that's consistent with the Buddhist principles in order to open your wisdom. That's what seems to be what he's trying to explain to us, how hermits cultivate. Okay, so that means that they probably have access to sutras and so forth, and materials for them to learn about the principles, learn about the teachings. Okay, yes, Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master. Thank you for expanding on Great Master YongHua's explanation of hermit. I didn't get it from what's in the slide the same way you're describing. Am I correct then in understanding, the practice of being a hermit? It kind of sounds like 4 C's is inconsistent with that practice, like a bit. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but like a hypocritical hermit.
I'm coming to that. You're jumping the gun. Yes, coming. So you see, first of all, we look at the definition of hermit. What hermits are supposed to do. Okay. You hide. You want no one to know about you. Okay? And you study the principles. And you live according to the principles in order to open your wisdom. Right? So that's what a hermit does. So next slide. And that's always hermit. And the Master Tao explained, you're a hermit. Okay, you're really a hermit. You're greedy for nothing and are seeking for nothing. Okay? So these are superior people. They're not worldly pursuits at all. Worldly people are seeking. They're pursuing and trying to fulfill their desires. Okay? Hermits, they are not seeking anything. They're not greedy for anything. Okay? And they study the principles. We study the Buddha Dharma. Okay? It's fantastic of a lifestyle, trust me. It's not what you think. When people seeking, like they want to have the champagne, the good wine, and good beer and so forth, and a good food and so forth, there's pleasure associated with that. There's also the price associated with that. Right? And he said, and the Chinese is saying, if you eat very well, your life is shortened. Yes or no? That really shocks me. I still don't understand it. Okay, not fully. And they say that if you eat 美食, the food that's beautiful, that's superior, that's refined, you shorten your life. Chinese people, help us out. Korean people, help us out. You folk have that tradition. Here in the West, we seek the delicacies. Yes? No? No one's biting? Okay, moving on. So anyway, so he's seeking for nothing and study the Buddha Dharma. And if you think that this is a lot of pain and suffering, okay, it's not. They're very, very happy. The hermits are very, very happy. That's why they're doing it. Okay? In my opinion. I haven't done it, but... So what's his name? His name was Xi Zhao Zhi. So Master Tao explained Xi is to 学习的习 is to study. Zhao is to chisel. Okay, and Zhi is a tooth. So I don't know why study to chisel the tooth. You can tell that the name is nonsense. Okay? And if you have such a nonsense name, why would you want people to know about you? I would change my name. Love something more glamorous, like, the hermit warrior. Things like that. If you're going to be famous, choose a name, a good name for yourself. Okay? So anyway, this guy here has this weird name, so he heard about Master Tao. So what did he do? He sought him out. Remember, hermit is no seeking. He sought out Master Tao. Hermit is to follow the principles. There's no principle that says seek the famous people and debate them. There's no Buddhist principles that says so. I assure you. Okay? The Buddha never taught us it's okay to debate and out-debate others. Never. Somehow the Indian decided that's a good thing to do. Somehow the Chinese decided it's a good thing to do. Somehow the Jews decided it's a good thing to do. But not according and not consistent with the way. Okay? So anyway, so he went to look up Master Tao. And Master Tao, like typical of all the Chinese masters, famous masters, they when they talk to newcomers, says, okay, what is your name? Where did you come from? Did you eat today? And so forth. And so Xi Zhao Zhi said, you don't know me? I am 4C's Xi Zhao Zhi. Everyone knows me. Okay, and you don't know me? Yeah. And so right there, as Peter was pointed out, so this guy says, I'm famous. Then doesn't it violate the fact that he's not practicing in seclusion, incognito? Okay, so what Dharma is he practicing to the point he becomes famous? And people know about him. Okay. So if that's the case, it's very difficult for him to attain the way to open his wisdom. There's a Dharma behind living in seclusion, okay, that will make it easier for you to open your wisdom. Okay, and the telltale sign here with this guy is that he's very proud of the fact that he's well known among the 4 C's. 4 C's meaning that it's the world. Okay, so I'm famous. He says I'm famous. The famous 4 C's, Xi Zhao Zhi. How can you ask me? And so Master Dawan says, so you are that 4 C's, Xi Zhao Zhi. Then do you know who I am? And Xi Zhao Zhi said, you are Dharma Master Dawan. Okay? You only Dawan, Dharma Master. I'm known in the 4 C's. I'm wider. My fame is much further than yours. Okay? You are only famous in China. I'm famous, my fame spread to the 4 C's, the world, not just China. And so Master Tao said, no, actually, 我是 here, actually, I am covering the sky, Shakya Dawan. Mi Tian is to me is to cover. Okay, to cover the skies, meaning I'm bigger than the skies. Whatever the sky you have there, I can cover it, meaning I'm bigger than the sky. Okay? Yeah. And so I'm covering the sky, Shakya Dawan. And that's how he outdebated Xi Zhao Zhi, and people love the answer. See, that's why Master Dawan is a great debater. With how he didn't have to think. He says, you are for Xi Zhao Zhi. You know who I am? I'm Midian, Dawan, Shu Dawan. So I'm covering the sky, Dawan, Shakya Dawan. Okay? Questions or comments? 8.
Asita Phật Thầy. I thought that when they debate, they have to debate something about the sutra that what the Buddha teaching. So why they debate something no nonsense?
No, you don't understand debate. Debate is you get the other opponent to the point where they cannot reply to you. That's how you win the debate. And so it's very impressive. Master Dawan, very quickly made him speechless. So out-debated him. Dawan has wisdom. He's an excellent debater. Anyone else? JC.
Hello, Master. It's my last day of fasting, but I'm wondering, is it possible to go out somewhere just after fasting?
Like where?
But I heard it could be dangerous just right after fasting, going somewhere else. So I need to bring some stuff from JMT. So tomorrow I need to go to JMT with Hyunun S님 and coming back tomorrow. So is it okay to go to JMT? Thank you.
Is it okay to go to JMT? If you are going out on the temple business, then it's okay. If you're on your own, then you are on your own. We don't extend protection to you. Okay? Temple business only. But your personal reasons, you go out, then good luck to you. Who's dying there? Is there someone dying? Is that a corpse there I see on the floor?
No, I just need to bring some personal stuff. That's all.
Oh, looks like she's dying. Is she okay? You guys it used to happen to me too. I was sick, and I was sick in my room at Long Beach Monastery for weeks, and no one bothered me. No one even asked. I had strep throat, and in strep throat, without penicillin, you die. You don't go see a doctor who will prescribe penicillin for you. You die. And basically, I was left to die. But I didn't. So what's happening to you? Are you okay? How come she looks so miserable? What's going on? You mistreat her? You mistreated?
I'm fasting.
You're fasting? How many days? 2 days?
2 days. 10 days.
2 days.
No. 10 days.
Second day?
10 days. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 days already. Wow. Wow. Must be so miserable, huh?
It's just I'm very dizzy.
Very dizzy. Oh, well. So much suffering. Okay. Yeah. Good luck. Don't die on us. Yeah, get some sleep, get some rest. Okay? Yeah. How many days are you going for?
Last time Master told me to do 12 days.
I did.
Yes.
So you have 2 more days?
Yes, but then I was going to ask like if I should stop at 12 days or keep on.
No, you should go at least 1 more day. 13. It's a very lucky number.
All right.
Okay. Good luck. Hang in there. Don't die on us, okay?
I'll try.
When you feeling this bad, are you reciting the Medicine Master Buddha's name?
I have no energy, so I just turn on the MP3 file on it. Master's MP3 file.
Oh, that's okay too. All right. Good luck. Okay.
Thank you, Master.
Okay. People keep an eye on her. It's if every day keep an eye on her. Okay. Make sure she's okay. So if you run out of steam, it's okay to quit. All right? Don't hurt yourself. So this is why when you fast, we force you to come to the dining hall so that we can look at you, okay, and torment you with the smell of the food and see if you go crazy or not. And then the main thing is that we check up on you, make sure that you still have you still are able to make it another day. That's why. All right. Did they sign waivers just in case something happens and they're not going to sue us? Okay, question from JMT.
네, 안녕하십니까, 마스터. 저는 다시 지금 8일째입니다. 지금까지 할 수 있었던 거는 같이 있었던 현공 스님하고 지금 선칠 때 같이 있는 제가자분들한테 감사하다는 얘기를 먼저 하고 싶고요. 그리고 저는 지금 제 상태가 살이 많이 빠졌어요. 살도 많이 빠지고 눈도 침침하고 허리도 아프고 평소에 안 좋았던 것들이 나온다 그래서 되게 좀 긴장을 했었는데 생각했던 것보다는 좀 아직은 그런 증상들이 더 많이 나타나지 않아서 또 숨도 많이 차고 그런데 제가 내일까지 할지 아니면 더 해야 될지 여쭙고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
Hi, Master. I've been fasting, and this is my 8th day. So I'd like to explain what happened. First of all, I'd like to appreciate the Venerable Shinkong and the lay people. And I'd like to explain about my condition right now. I lost a lot of weight, and I can't see well, and my lower back hurts. At the beginning, I was nervous about that my weak part of my health will show up during the fasting. But fortunately, I didn't see that many symptoms. Another thing was I experienced shortness of breath. So tomorrow's my last day, but I'd like to know if I should continue or not. Thank you.
Where are you staying? Are you staying in the building, or you have to walk back to the apartment?
저도 3층에 있습니다.
I'm staying in the third floor in the building.
Okay, very good. So she has to climb the stairs from second floor to third floor. Can you give her the room on the second floor there? Is there a room on the second floor that Deji Sunim can stay? Because I'm afraid if she's she feels dizzy, walking the stairs may not be a safe thing to do.
그게 잘못될 수도 있기 때문에 안전상 좋지가 않습니다. 2층에 지낼 그런 방이 있나요?
Yes, Master. We'll give her the second floor room for Daejesunim.
Yeah, give her a second floor. And so there's a back pain there and shortness of breath, right? Very good. Then that's you can finish tomorrow. That's the 9th day. You make it. You could probably do 2 more days. So do 11. Okay, but do not climb the stairs anymore. Because I want to look at the back hurting. I want that to clear out. You go a little bit longer, it will clear out faster. Will clear up faster. And your illnesses you were afraid of, your weak condition, didn't materialize because it's nothing. That's why it could not interfere. There was no major illnesses. That's why you could last this long. Okay, that's great news. But you have a small back issue there. We should try to go a little bit longer until it clears out. All right? Endure.
그리고 제가
Yeah, endure. You can last another 2-3 days. Okay?
제가 실수한 게 있습니다. 실수한 게 있는데요. 입이 너무 마르고 목이 타서 물을 최근 3일 동안 조금 더 먹었어요. 3일간 100ml씩.
드셨다고요? 한 컵에다가 100ml.
그러니까 기본 먹어야 되는 거에 더 먹는 실수했어요. 한 컵이 아니고 제가 평소에 300씩 먹었는데요. 3일간은 400씩 먹었습니다. 종이컵으로 2컵이요? 2컵 조금 넣는 건가요? 네.
My mouth was really dry and really thirsty. For the last 3 days, I drank more water. I drank altogether 400 milliliter of water every day. It's about 2 cups every day.
And you might as well stop tomorrow. You messed up. Okay? Stop tomorrow. You have to follow instruction. You don't follow instruction, don't hurt yourself. Okay? Do it again next time, and do not drink more water. You have to follow instructions. You cannot do things the way you like. If you do it your way, then you're defeating this process. Okay? You can stop tomorrow and try again next time. All right. Anyone has any other questions? Way Mountain. There's no point going further if you don't follow the rules. It's designed to achieve certain things.
Master, ignorance is one of the three poisons. Is there a way to compassionately reveal others' false thoughts?
I don't understand reveal others' false thoughts.
Master Dawan revealed false thoughts and saying 4 C's by countering him and debating him. Is there a way for us to do that for others compassionately without it being a debate or a zero-sum game?
Yes, don't debate. Anyone else? Even though people don't get it when we don't debate, when we take a loss, even if they don't get it, we let them win, even if they don't get it. In the future, they will. Be patient. We follow the principles. We don't go for short gains. Anyone else? Okay, I think we don't have a whole lot of time left. So if you have no more questions and nothing you'd like to discuss, we can stop here tonight. Yes, 7.
Master, can you teach us more about the relationship between the eating well and the shortening your life that you talked before?
I still don't understand that. Why is it when you eat delicious food and fancy food, you shorten your life? I'm not clear. From medical perspective, I'm not sure. All I know is that you can look at it from a couple of perspectives. Yes, YouTube comment.
Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master Z. We actually have a YouTube comment, and I'm just very happy without seeking to let everyone know we have over 60 people tuned in live for our YouTube audience. To share, Lio comments, as far as I know, eating too fancy, delicate food will shorten your life is a traditional saying that emphasizes the virtue of frugality. No scientific proof, and there's also a concept that you would use up the blessings by eating too good food.
Okay. Anyone else? So that's a Chinese information, Chinese Asian information where you reduce blessings and so forth.
I believe it's based on a Asian saying from her comment.
Okay. Oh, it's great. Thank you for sharing it with us. I don't know what it really means. All I can think of are a few things. Number one, when you eat good food, usually they use chemicals. For example, the Japanese use a lot of MSG in the food, which is extremely unhealthy. You eat food with MSG, like the Vietnamese put MSG in almost everything they sell at the restaurants, okay? Or the instant noodles, they all have MSG, a lot of MSG. So vegetarian food, fake meat, for example, has MSG. And so when you eat a lot of it, okay, you're seeking all the delicacies, the finer food. They usually have, for most of us cheap, poor people, usually in the form of MSG-loaded food. And MSG is poisonous to you. It kills you slowly. Okay, I could tell because when I eat, I have different temples. I go to a temple where they serve me food with MSG. I could tell right away. Okay, because soon as I eat MSG, after the meal, about half an hour after the meal, I become very thirsty. I don't know about you. It's my reaction to it is that I need to drink a lot of water to dilute the MSG. Okay? Yes, it tastes good at the moment of eating, but after you pay. Okay? And so that usually is the case. On the other hand, if you have like fancy food, delicacies that is served by the fancy restaurants, okay? Like the 3-star Michelins, like the Mr. Red Zeppi, who advocates their own farming and they study how to make food from moth, from like what the Mexicans, like from the ants, nests, okay, or the babies of the bees. Yes, the fetus of the bees as a delicacy. Or in some cases, you go to a night market in Taipei, you can get the scorpions to eat. All those things. I'm not sure it's necessarily good for you. The things that are palatable to us usually have greasy, has a lot of sugar, has chemicals. Okay, and so they're not necessarily healthy for us. Whereas, how about rich people? They go to a fancy place like Spago in Beverly Hills. Okay, no commercial relationship, by the way, but we're open-minded. You can order a steak, a Wagyu beef steak. Could cost you about $400 or $500 per plate. Okay. And I'm sure it's a great dining experience. That does not include yet the wine and the tips and so forth. Okay, and so I'm sure it's well worth it. Okay, does it shorten your life? Absolutely. You eat the beef there, it makes you sick. And beef is toxic to you. There's some report I read a long time ago where at Berkeley Monastery, in Master Tao temple, where there's some guy called Robbins or something, who was advocating vegetarianism and so forth. Back then, 25 years ago, it was a big deal. 30 years ago, it was a big deal. And so he says, if you eat a piece of steak, okay, your body rejects about 60-70% of it because it's toxic to you. Whereas you eat spinach, for example, 70% to 90% of it is nutritious to your body. Okay, so they made a big deal out of it to sell their ideas. So a lot of fine food actually are not necessarily healthy for you. And the more you eat fine food, the unhealthier your body becomes. Yeah. And so maybe the concept is from the Asian culture where you look at food as medicine. So what is good for you is not necessarily good to your palate, good to your taste goods, appealing to your taste buds, are not necessarily healthy for you. That's what I found out personally. Okay. And the other aspect of it is that when you eat good food, you tend to overeat. So that doesn't help your digestive system either. Hello, you're hiding? You see? And that's what it shows, she's not afraid. That's how you should you should raise your children. Let them be free, roam freely, do their own things freely, without being suppressed and say, this is a temple, no, don't create offenses. Okay? Yes, you're creating offenses. You're going to go to hell, but that's a different story. Okay? There's a reason why they don't allow children to mess around at the altar and so forth, because they're creating offenses. It's true. But we absolve them for it. It's not an issue in our temple. Okay? And we don't allow it unless it's harmful to them. They can do that because it does them no harm whatsoever. All right. So there's a reason why good food is shortening your life. Primarily, to me, logically speaking, because it's not healthy. Delicacies are not necessarily the most healthy things. Okay, in general. And the other reason is that, like Lyle just mentioned, is that to eat the finer delicacies, okay, then you exhaust a lot of blessings. You pay several $100s for a nice piece of beefsteak. It's well worth it, I assure you. Okay, but it also exhausts your blessings, and you're not careful, your blessings run out. Your life is shortened accordingly. Question from JMT. That's all I know. There's a lot more details, but I'm no expert. So I don't know. Maybe in the future, others will help us out and shed more light on this thing here. Because I admit it to you, it's not clear to me why eating delicacies and finer food will shorten your life. JMT.
에 올라온 맹성이님 코멘트입니다. 저는 2달 전부터 보라 전원에서 수행 중인 맹성희입니다. 일주일에 한 번만 참석하는데 몸이 많이 좋아짐을 느낍니다. 루푸스 때문에 스테로이드를 많이 먹었는데 3달 전에 의사 처방으로 약을 끊었어요. 약을 끊으면 기력이 없고 아파 자주 누워 있는데 2달간 매일 1시간씩 결과부자를 하면서 잠도 잘 자고 몸도 좋아져 가족들도 감사하고 있습니다. 약삽을 위패 가피도 느낍니다. 감사합니다, 마스터. 루푸스.
Master, my name is Meng Song Hee, and I'd like to share this experience. I have a lupus, and I used to take steroid. I start to do meditation 1 hour every day. I go to temple once a week, and I could feel that my body is getting better. And due to my lupus, I've been taking steroid, but I no longer take the steroid. Instead, I stayed 1 hour. I sit 1 hour for 2 months, and I could see my body is improving, and my family is thanking for this new situation, and I could see the response from Medicine Master Plague, requesting Medicine Master Plague. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey soon teacher, the one who sits at JMT in the back. How's your leg?
네, 좀 많이 좋아졌습니다. 감사합니다.
Master, it improved a lot. Thank you so much.
Really? Praise the Lord.
네, 기분이 많이 좋아졌다고.
Okay, don't do anything crazy now. Okay? Do not sit in full lotus, let it heal. You hear? You sit in full lotus, the healing will stop. So the Lord will not like it. I'm reminding you, I'm giving you instructions. You don't follow instructions. Don't ask me for more instructions. It's many of you are like that. You come to me and said, Master, tell me what to do. I tell you what to do, and then you change it. And you come back to me and said, I can't do it. Can you tell me what I'm doing? And what else can I do? I give you instructions already. Follow them. Be grateful. I'm giving you instruction. When I was cultivating, I had a lot of questions. I said, am I doing it right? Or I asked for someone to tell me, just so that my mind doesn't go crazy every time I meditate, because the thought keeps on coming up. It says, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Every single time. I endured it. And now I'm telling you, do this. And you don't follow instructions, don't expect me to teach you more. Okay? All these are designed to teach you something. There's tremendously profound wisdom behind the instructions I learned from the patriarchs, and has been tested with time. Okay, there's a reason why, for example, speaking of fasting, why you're not supposed to drink more than 1 cup of water a day for the first 9 days. It's tremendously insightful, the way Master YongHua taught us. Be grateful. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone. And then they come back and ask me for more instructions. Waste of my time.